During the writing process, the teacher dialogues with students to confirm their understanding of the elements of a summary. The teacher encourages the student to articulate writing choices and asks probing questions to stimulate deep thinking. The students and teacher collaboratively decide on the next steps. The student makes appropriate revisions, checking with the rubric during the writing process. The teacher uses this dialogue as an opportunity for ongoing assessment and records her observations for future reference.
So you've read the text, and now both you and Diana created your gist list. Now I noticed that you had to add some spaces because you have, how many words do you have in your gist list?
27.
Okay, 27 gist words. Ooh, that's a lot. So if we're going to start looking through these words, I'm going to start reading through and see if I can piece together what you thought was the main idea. Okay?
Yeah.
What is the main idea of this text?
Space rocks. What are space rocks?
So we're talking about space rocks and how they're dangerous. And you've said, what are space rocks?
Asteroids, comets, and meteors.
Is this text only about space rocks?
No.
No. But here you've gone into detail about what comets are and what they look like, what asteroids are, and what meteoroids are.
Mm-hmm.
Is that needed in the summary?
No.
Why not?
Because it's too specific.
You've included all these specific details about the different types of space rocks.
Mm-hmm.
But this text is not only on space rocks and what they are, it's also on how they are dangerous. This whole section of the text is about how they're dangerous. So this may be interesting. Oh wow, I didn't know a comet was called a dirty snowball. But is it an important detail that supports the main idea about how space rocks are dangerous?
No.
So what I'd like you to do, look at this gist list and take out some of the specific details, maybe some of the interesting details, and just really get to the main idea of the text. Do you have any questions? All right.
I guess we could take out all the specific details about the space rocks.
So now you had the opportunity to look at your original gist list, because you had 27 words on there, and what you did was you reread the text, you discussed what words you should include, what were the main ideas, and you created a new gist list. So let's take a look at your new gist list.
The teacher gives very specific feedback to the student during the writing process. Students are expected to reflect on their work, the process, and on themselves as writers. During the conversation, the teacher continues to observe and assess.
So you've read this text together, and after you reread it, you pulled out the gist words, and then you put your gist words into a summary. So I'm going to quickly take a look at your gist words and see what information you thought was important. After you read the text, what did you think the main idea was?
I thought the main idea was how space rocks affect Earth and people on it.
How space rocks affect Earth and people on it. So the information you've included demonstrates that. Okay, let's see. So you have space rocks, leftover, comets, asteroids, meteoroids. What does that mean? Comets, asteroids, meteoroids.
They're the different types of space rocks.
Okay, so there are different types of space rocks, and they orbit the sun, and sometimes they can crash into Earth, which causes changes in the climate or even the extinction of dinosaurs. So you've got your ideas there, especially if you thought the main idea was how space rocks affect us and on Earth. So let's take a look at your summary and how you've pieced these words together, how you put them together.
The text, Space Rocks, is about what happens when rocks in space crash onto Earth. The author is trying to inform us that scientists are trying to track and predict further collisions in order to stop them.
What I've noticed is you've done a great job of putting your ideas together, and there's a logical flow there. What you've done here is you've included the title and the author. The way you've phrased your sentences really flows well. You have space rocks such as comets, asteroids, and meteoroids. So it's a good way of explaining these are the types of space rocks. And it's really affected the way you got to the author's main purpose. It's to inform, and what is he informing us about what scientists are trying to do? How did you get that idea out of this text, what scientists are trying to do? Josh?
I got the idea from the last paragraph, why are they dangerous?
Okay.
Shows us what we can do and what they do, they could do to us. And on the last sentence says that the researchers are trying to
track down and intercept large objects before they reach Earth's surface.
This is an important thing, that we have to stop this from happening. So what you've done another effective job of is using your own words. Okay? Did you use any synonyms?
No.
No? Can you go back and maybe use some other synonyms for some of the words you used out of the text? What is a word that comes out to you that you can say, you know what, I can use a synonym for that word?
Maybe crash.
Crash? Okay. So come up with a synonym and then make sure that you've included it in your summary. Okay? Now remember, before you go on and ensure that it's done, ask yourself the 3 questions. Did I include the author's main ideas? Does it make sense? Is it brief?